Hurricane Maria barreled through St. Croix overnight. The winds are ferocious right now, gusting above 120 miles per hour.
It's been a long recovery process. The level of devastation and the magnitude of Maria was something that really hard to plan for.
It's very long time without power.
Your government won't do the work. The country that has colonized you won't do the work. You're on your own.
We've done extraordinary things here. Was it enough? Obviously not.
Me da dolor irme así. I need to change. We need to change.
You've got really intelligent people who are leaving this island.
Things that take 7 days on a normal transaction from FEMA take over 140 days.
Hola.
Y es difícil porque pues dejo mis papás, mis hermanos, mis amistades más cercanas. Situaciones difíciles, ¿verdad? Como todos estamos pasando. Así es que no nos suelten. Yo no me voy a olvidar tanto de ustedes. Estuvimos 9 meses sin luz. Llegó el 16 de junio, exactamente el día que cumple Alaya. Y fue doble fiesta. Cumpleaños de Alaya y llegó la luz.
When Hurricane Maria struck on September 20th, 2017, Damaris Perales and her 10-year-old daughter Alaya narrowly escaped a potentially deadly mudslide. They had to flee in the middle of the night with little more than the clothing on their backs.
Bueno, esa es la casa donde vivíamos y María nos sacó.
They've been living with Damaris's mother ever since.
Todo esto se llenó, todavía hay tierra. Dentro de la casa también agua y fango porque toda esa tierra también entró a la casa. Vivimos alrededor de 4 años y aunque era rentada, pero ya pues sentíamos que estábamos ubicada, era nuestra casa.
Mi coche favorito.
I've been reporting on the devastation caused by Maria for the past year.
Thank you, it's good to be back.
My team and I have returned repeatedly, and while there are some glimmers of hope and progress amidst the shuttered businesses and abandoned homes, government agencies at every level are still struggling, not just to take care of the island's living, but also its dead.
So we're headed to the Forensic Center in San Juan. There's a backlog of bodies, some of which are being housed in 18-wheelers.
Initially, the government said 64 people died because of Hurricane Maria. But the lack of resources and slow response ultimately, according to researchers at George Washington University, resulted in an estimated 2,975 deaths. Some of the people who died are still at the morgue.
These are my personnel that are in charge.
So if you walk me up to the truck, can you open the back of the truck?
Yes, that's what I wanted to go.
But we don't go in the truck.
No.
Monica Melendez runs the Forensic Center. These days, her main focus is trying to retain enough staff to process the backlog of bodies, many of which arrived after Maria.
So there are bodies in body bags. They're not on trays, and it sounds like a refrigerator blowing. It looks to be about a half dozen, maybe a dozen in there. How many bodies do you have right now?
So I had 330.
You had 330.
And that was the inventory for Thursday, 330.
But Mr. Pesquera said you've got bodies that have been here for years that haven't been autopsied.
Yes.
Right?
So those are the Jane John Does.
So you had Jane and John Does before the hurricane,
Yes.
but you had an increase because
That's
of the
correct.
hurricane.
Yes,
How
after the
many
hurricane.
after the hurricane?
I'm going to give you an example. After the hurricane, we're receiving about 25 cases more than we're normally used to.
Every day?
Per week.
Oh, per week.
So I'm getting 100 cases more per month.
Melendez says by law, pathologists can only perform 325 autopsies per year, but she keeps losing staff to the U.S. mainland.
We want to employ forensic pathologists, but they don't want to come because they say the salary is too low. So they start getting here around $75,000 per year.
You pay $75,000 a year for a pathologist, and how much would they make in the States?
They, depending if they have their experience, it could be from $150 to $200.
Puerto Rico has been in the throes of an economic crisis since 2004, and since then, the island's population dropped from its peak of 3.8 million to about 3.5 million. But when Hurricane Maria hit in September 2017, that migration surged into a full-blown exodus.
There are probably, I'd estimate, about 1,000 people in this terminal waiting to get a flight. Most of them have tickets.
I remember being in here 5 days after the hurricane. People were laid out everywhere. It was dark, it was hot, they had no water, no food. Some had been here for 24, 36 hours. And this place was like an escape hatch. It was the one place people could run to and just wait in hopes of getting a flight out of here.
Since the exodus began, Puerto Rico has lost another estimated 200,000 residents who moved to the U.S. mainland, continuing to drain the island of the resource most vital to getting it back on its feet, its people, raising the question of whether the island is ever going to fully recover.
Las bolsas son, vamos a ver, si pesa más de 50, hay que pagar. Y no se puede, debido a que pues, trabajaba en gobierno, pero el proceso es tan lento que mis liquidaciones no me las han dado. Y renuncié hace un mes.
Damaris was an accountant in Puerto Rico's health department, which provides healthcare services for nearly 1.5 million people here.
Vamos a ver si cierra.
The past year has been a real struggle for Damaris, but she's been patient, living with her mother, waiting for the recovery efforts to pay off. But now she says she no longer has time to sit around.
So, los pocos ahorros que tengo y lo que pues, he podido vender de las cosas que tenía, pues es lo que me llevo para entonces poder iniciar nuevamente allá en Florida. Mira, saludando a la cámara, tú, tu boca, tu nariz, tus ojos, tu mano, estabas así. Una mezcla de sentimientos, porque toda mi vida he vivido acá.
¿Emocionada para mudar a Florida?
Sí. Porque como casi todas las personas que yo conozco pues están en Puerto Rico y allá pues no hay muchas personas, ¿verdad? Que son familias de nosotros. Y pues como que asusta un poco.
Vamos a ver si cierra. Me han surgido oportunidades, ¿verdad? Y pues hay que aprovechar las oportunidades en el momento.
Puerto Rico is a Commonwealth of the United States, so its residents are American citizens, and they can relocate without any restrictions. It's estimated that nearly half of the people who have left the island so far are under the age of 24. And that's a demographic that is the lifeblood of any labor force. But despite that, we met some residents that believe it's still possible for Puerto Rico to get back on its feet.
Nice to meet you. How are you? I like your gray hair. Finally, somebody else who's young with gray hair.
This group of inspiring young professionals and artists believe that right now may be Puerto Rico's best chance to reshape this island for the better.
About 7 days after the storm, someone said to me, Maria may be the best thing that happened to Puerto Rico.
You know, that's a very bold statement.
It shocked me to hear that.
You know, but it's true. I've thought
You think it's true?
I think it's true.
Why do you agree? It may be the best thing to happen on the island.
Porque revierte un poco la idea de estar sedentario.
I don't think the word is this is the best thing that happened to Puerto Rico.
No, it's
I
an
think
important
the word is the shake, the shake that happened to Puerto Rico that needed to happen?
We have gotten stronger. If anyone had a doubt, any doubt that Puerto Ricans are struggling on their own, this is a country that has been fighting for its freedom forever.
What does it mean to be Puerto Rican?
Puerto Rico is a colony of the United States, so you can't separate that. It's part of, you were born in a colonized country. In the context of Maria, it's about realizing that you're on your own, that your government won't do the work, the country that has colonized your country won't do the work.
Would you rather be an independent country?
Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely.
All of you?
Yes.
Well, but the U.S. is already committed, I think, close to $50 billion, right? So, I mean, it's huge.
A lot of people contributed money towards Puerto Rico and its recovery. Where's the money? When we still have people without power or potable water, for that matter.
Sure is a beautiful place. Growing up, I always felt like if you needed the government, they would be there to save you, right, rescue you. But here, it was almost like if people felt like the government, even if they wanted to, just failed doing it.
The bureaucracy, it's killing us.
How so? In what ways?
Things that take 7 days on a normal transaction from FEMA take over 140 days over here.
Puerto Rico's governor, Ricardo Rosselló, says that because the island doesn't have a representative in the U.S. Congress who can cast a vote, and because the island has filed for bankruptcy protection, they are even more dependent today on Washington and its whims. So where are things? How are things right now?
It's been a long recovery process. I think that is, the most important thing that we need to take out. But there is an opportunity now for a strong rebuild. We got assigned $18.5 billion on the supplemental, and $2 billion of that goes towards energy, but the rest goes to housing projects, to rebuilding roads, schools, and so forth.
We're interviewing a family who on the 1st is out of here, a woman who stayed a year after Maria and tried to make it work.
Yeah.
You've got really intelligent people who are leaving this island. How do you stop that?
Well, here's the way I aim to stop that. We're going to have this unique opportunity to rebuild and make fundamental changes to Puerto Rico. We're doing that now. We're doing that in energy. We're doing that in housing. We're doing that in our healthcare model. We have a education reform in Puerto Rico. We're going to be remembered either as those that paved the way to a new Puerto Rico or those that had the opportunity and didn't do anything for it. So, I will die trying to make sure that Puerto Rico becomes the place where we can have opportunity.
The governor's plan depends heavily on the billions of dollars that have been promised by the U.S. government. But many of the homeowners in Puerto Rico who have applied for aid through FEMA have been denied because for one reason or another, they can't prove that they own their own home.
About 3,100.
Mike Byrne is one of FEMA's most seasoned leaders. He helped coordinate the responses to Hurricanes Sandy and Harvey, and after Maria, he was named the point man here. How much money has the federal government given to Puerto Rico?
By the 1-year anniversary, it'll be $14.2 billion that we will have spent, and that'll just keep growing as time goes on.
The governor wants about $100 billion.
Well, you don't need that $100 billion tomorrow, okay? You need how much you can use deliberately to do the reconstruction effort right now. We just need to set up the programs and then see what do we need year on year to be able to make sure that we move forward with the reconstruction.
Majority of people tell me FEMA's job here was a disaster. Your response?
I don't buy that. I think, first of all, I think that's just not the right thing to say to the 17,000 people that came here to provide assistance to the Commonwealth and to the people of the Commonwealth.
There was not a cot
in the warehouse when Maria made landfall. Not one cot in the warehouse.
That particular case, stuff wasn't in the warehouse because we sent it to the Virgin Islands because Virgin Islands got hit by Irma.
A week before.
Right. So am I in the same position? Will I make that same mistake? No. I have 5 warehouses now. I had 1 warehouse last year.
Stock full.
Stock full. We didn't have what we needed on the island. There's no doubt about it. That's a fact. Just like the storm being as bad as it was is a fact.
Did the effort match the effectiveness?
I think that in a lot of cases it did. There were areas of shortfall that we've been honest about and we've identified, and we're going to work to get better.
But it may be too little too late for a lot of people. Since 2003, Puerto Rico has lost more than 5.5% of its population. And as that exodus continues, the island's recovery seems further and further out of reach.
Una familia más que sale para Estados Unidos. Damaris el miércoles está saliendo para el estado de Florida, allí con nuestros hermanos puertorriqueños que se siguen acumulando allí. Vénganse por aquí y párense frente a la congregación, Damaris, para que te dirija a la congregación algunas palabras.
Dios los bendiga. Situaciones difíciles, ¿verdad? Como todos estamos pasando, pero esta vez no permití que mi fe se quebrantara. Seguí por donde Dios me estaba enviando y me permita seguir creciendo como su hija para poder seguir modelándole a mi hija, que me brinde la salud que tanto necesito para poder seguir levantando a mi hija, y así es que no nos suelten. Yo no me voy a olvidar tampoco de ustedes.
Alaya, ¿quieres decir algo? A los niños.
Qué calladito lo tenía. Te quiero mucho. Te voy a extrañar un montón.
Voy a estar por ahí. Toda puerta que Dios abra, yo cruzo. Si sus planes son en algún momento que yo regrese, soy obediente. Por ahora, pues, todas las puertas se me están abriendo allá.
Many people moving stateside are seeking a return to normalcy and stability. But as Puerto Rico approaches its second decade of recession, and with over $70 billion of debt, dwindling resources and hope are starting to feel like the new normal here.
My God, the majesty of Puerto Rico. You really got to come here to see it.
¡Llegó la luz! ¡La luz!
Lights and energy. Hello. Hello.
Benito.
Ajá. Light.
Muy bien. Hicieron bastante por la humanidad aquí, porque nosotros creíamos que a esta época todavía no estuviéramos, y gracias a Dios ya la tenemos. Un poquito más tranquilidad, porque se sienta uno y no está al oscuro. Más tranquilo, porque ya puede uno echarse un poquito de agua caliente por encima, y entonces ya hay más claridad.
I'm very grateful. I really thought they still without power like in a year, or maybe nunca, never.
Well, they look so happy with the lights on.
My grandpa is very happy. 10 months is very long time without power.
Do you have friends who are leaving because
Yes.
they don't want to stay?
Yes.
Why?
I have one friend with 3 kids, and she moved like 2 weeks, the Hurricane Maria, to Orlando, and they finished the school, and they leave Puerto Rico.
Are they coming back?
I don't know, I don't think so.
One economist working with the Financial Oversight and Management Board for Puerto Rico predicts that if the island loses another 1 million people, its population will likely never return to pre-Maria levels, and the U.S. Commonwealth will become a shadow of its former self. Based on the current rate of migration, that could happen in as little as 25 years. And what are your hopes for her?
Poder estar con ella ayudándola. Stay with her in her life when she have a graduate and que logre su sueño. I need a change. We need a change.